Remember my last lullaby, so I'll be.
You know, we were doing good. You know, she was going through the song time and time again, and Jeffrey Katzenberg suddenly said, I said to somebody, go out, get a doll. So somebody went out, bought a doll, gave her a doll. So now suddenly she was singing to this baby, and oof, you know, it just, you know, yeah, everybody in the studio started crying.
You know, because we really wanted Ofra to feel in the moment of performance this sense of singing a lullaby to a child. We went over to the Five and Dime and bought a little plastic baby, and so that she could actually sing to this little doll, and it actually worked. She suddenly, that doll came to life in her mind, and her performance was, you know, spectacular. You could feel it was from the heart.
This is always why it's hard to talk about her, because you remember these moments and you go, oh, I wish we could have had a serious moment like this. I wish her life could have turned out like that moment there, like, you know, all those things, you know.
What struck me about Ofra, aside from the fact that she was an incredible singer, was her innocence. Not only her innocence, but she was so young, and she appeared to be even, you know, she seemed even younger than she was in chronological years. She looked like she was 21 years old to me. I think that, and the concert went great. It was quite an honor to have her there. This was not something that everybody, you know, that everybody could do. But I had help from Bezalel Aloni, who lived in Westwood, and that's where I next saw her. I invited her to come and perform in my class, and to my amazement, she came. She came and she performed, holding an oil can and singing. And I remember sitting out with the students saying, this is the greatest thing about teaching this class. This is the greatest thing about being involved in this music and having this as a career. If my father could only be here to see what's happening right now, he would have said, it's okay that you didn't become a lawyer like the rest of us. And I remember seeing her, and how beautiful she was and how elegant she was holding that. It was, for me, it was a timeless moment, and it was perfect. Just her voice and the oil can, and hitting the oil can, it was timeless. This was probably music that people were playing 1,000 years ago from Yemen, where she was from. And this was also the way that I most enjoyed hearing her beautiful angelic voice.
As I look back on yesteryear, our picture's coming clear. As I look back on yesteryear, our picture's coming clear. I see my father work the fields, my mother holds me near. I see my father work the fields, my mother holds me near.
You could see that she was very well brought up. She was very respectful and considerate. She wasn't some sort of a rock and roll star, or someone that would sort of, you know, comport themselves like that. She was very, very careful. She was very, the French would use the word soignée. You could see with her hair, her makeup, what she was wearing. You could see that she seemed a little conservative. She wasn't trying to be some sort of a bewitching Sabra. She wasn't that type, although she could have been if she wanted to. She was putting herself into her music, and it showed.
So I'd heard about her, then that night I saw her, and we met. And I was very drawn to her as a person, her spirituality, the sound of her voice, the uniqueness of her talent. And one thing led to another from that event that night, that we promised we'd stay in touch, and stayed in touch because of the fit, the way we connected, that we would do something together. And I think that night I sang a song called Freedom for the World, which got her attention. One thing led to another, that we were going to get together and do something together. So the inspiration was feeling what I felt for her as an artist and a person, finding the right song, which led us to Freedom for the World. I always had a very titillating, flirtatious feel for Ofra, which I spoke to her about. And, you know, we talked about all of the wonderful things of of life and the personal side of life, and I enjoyed her company and enjoyed her laughter, because we would always have that kind of a rapport. When you listen to the sound and the tone of her voice and her look, her imaging, there was nobody like her. And I think that everything that would have happened to her in the future was all in front of her.
I can't imagine we would not have worked again together. She was a very special and unique talent, and I'm certain that that opportunity would have happened. We would have made it happen.
There certainly would have been a place for her in music, as long as she lived. There was no reason to believe that her talents weren't still developing. I don't think she was amazing, but she showed no signs of slowing down her development.
Here was a woman who, when I met her, if anything, as beautiful as she was, as worldly comfortable as she was, this is a woman who might have been a virgin for all I know. She was incredibly in tune with her righteousness, with her religiosity. She drank wine every once in a while. So there's no abuse of items that would have been drugs, and certainly alcohol. That wasn't a factor. There was no promiscuity because, frankly, I thought she was a virgin. So here's somebody who now comes out with it, and there's no drugs, there's no promiscuity. How in the world is it possible? Well, it was only possible about one thing. She probably married the wrong guy.
Ofra Haza הזאת תלך איתי עד הסוף, עד הקבר. אי אפשר להשתחרר מזה. זה לא מקריות, היכרות מקרית. היא הייתה חלק מהמשפחה.
וכל הזמן אני מנחמת אותו ואני אומרת לו, קח בחשבון שנתת לשנים כל כך יפות, עזוב. תהיה מאושר מזה לפחות.
לאסוף את החפצים המעטים שלי ולתיתם במזוודה הפתוחה. הייתי כאן יותר משנה ברוכה. עכשיו עליי ללכת. בשעות השקיעה פקדה אותי ההרגשה. עליי ללכת. אליה קורא עכשיו כל עורק לי, ואני תבל. מעביר את ידיי על פניי, להעביר את פניי על ידיה. להקשיב שוב סמוך לאוזניה, איך לילה עולה מביליה, מוניע שינה מעיניו, להקשיב לה לפחות סודות.
כל כך הרבה סודות אני מחפש בתמונות ישנות מדי.